He's alive!
Yo, yo, yo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ACW Newscast number 81. It's been so long since I've said that. My name is Hakeem Johnson, your ACW commentator, as always, and it's been a while since I even said that. But it's a brand new year, it's a brand new newscast, same old Hakeem as always. I want to thank everybody that is joining us here today for the ACW Newscast number 81. I know there's a lot of people that have wanted to ask a lot of questions from me, and I know that a lot of people have been worried about my whereabouts these past couple of days and weeks. I understand that. Um, First of all, thank you to everybody that have been able to still stick. I mean, excuse me, for everybody that has stuck by me through that disappearance. Just so during the holiday season, you got this to take care of, this to take care of. But I know you guys understand that, so I thank you for that. So I felt like it was only right for me to do a brand new newscast to ring in the new year here for ACW and for myself in general. So today, no news today. I'm sure the next newscast that we do, which I want to plan to do probably next week, but no promises. But we will be doing news topics here and there. But tonight we are going to be doing all Q&A. So any questions that you have, I will answer to the best of my abilities. I know tonight also is New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 12, which I am looking forward to, which I am also going to be staying up late to watch. For those that are within the specific time area, here in the Pacific, it will be around 9 p.m. where it starts. 8 p.m. will be the pre-show. As a matter of fact, I think I posted the times here for Wrestle Kingdom 12 so that people knew how to be able to catch it. So let me go ahead and read them off for you before I get started for anything. Let me see here. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Let me read them. Let me read them for you. All right. So if you're planning to watch Wrestle Kingdom 12, a lot of hype, a lot of things that are going into it. But if you're planning to watch Wrestle Kingdom 12 tonight, here are the start times for wherever you may be. Okay. If you're in Japan, obviously, it'll be starting at 5 p.m. 4 p.m. will be the pre-show. If you're in anywhere in Europe that is not the UK, it'll be 9 a.m. Pre-show will start at 8 a.m. The UK, if you are there, it'll start at 8 a.m. 7 a.m. will be the pre-show. If you're from the United States, it's all for the United States here. If you're on the Atlantic time zone, it'll be at 4 a.m. 1 a.m. is the pre-show. Eastern time will be 3 a.m. 2 a.m. will be the pre-show. Central time zone will be 2 a.m. 1 a.m. pre-show. Mountain time will be 1 a.m. midnight pre-show. Then obviously specific Western time zone will be 11 p.m. I mean midnight, with 11 p.m. being the pre-show. So that is what we are here looking forward to here tonight. So if you guys are looking forward to Wrestle Kingdom 12, those are your start times for where you need to be, and it's gonna be a fun episode. It's gonna be a very fun episode indeed. So, with that said, let's see, yeah. So, with that said, if you guys want to send some questions my way, you are more than happy to post them on the, you're more than happy to post them on the the chat, if you will. It took me a while to get that out for some reason, but it is what it is. Uh, yeah, I know the lag is kind of bad here. I understand. It's just I tried configuring it before the show even started, and it is what it is. I'll try to fix it the next time we do the newscast. I haven't done these in a while, so it's kind of weird. Okay. John Mercer, what are the chances that Kale, I call her Kale, and Khalifa or Kalfla, I say Khalifa like Wiz, will join the Glamour division. Um, Never say never. The Glamour division has grown. The Glamour division has been a very positive impact and a positive force for HCW. It's done a lot of things for HCW to the likes that it's different in its own way without having to copy anything. Expect the Glamour division, as it has this season, to keep growing. I am very excited for the future plans that I have for the Glamour division, and I will leave it at that. Um, my good friend Clipton here. What did you think of the Cleveland Browns going 0-16 this season? You know, the Cleveland Browns, they never cease to amaze me. They pretty much are, you know, the Brian Myers, the Kurt Hawkins of the NFL. Um, the Cleveland Browns are going to Cleveland Browns. Trash season. They're going to get the number 1 and 4 pick, I think, in the NFL draft. But it doesn't really matter at this point. It really doesn't matter. Like, as long as they don't fix not just the team itself, but the management has to be addressed here. You need to be able to replace the general manager, the owner, and the coach here. Because if you're not able to do that, the parasite that's in that organization is still going to grow. And until you get rid of that parasite, it doesn't matter what changes you make within that Browns organization. So, but I guess congratulations for a winless record for the Cleveland Browns. Sorry, Cleveland. Um, Let me see here. Hakeem, have you seen Kingdom Fighters Destiny yet? No, I have not. No, I have not. Um, Hakeem, what are your thoughts on the creator of Rurouni Kenshin being arrested for child pornography? Well, it's sad. I knew about that beforehand. That this question came to me. It's sad. It's sad that a show that you watch, a show that you do respect, had a creator that did deplorable, unspeakable, vile things. He's a piece of crap. Um, and I'll just let you in on a little secret. I had plans during this season to actually bring Rurouni Kenshin as a little bit of a, because we're doing the 10 years of ACW. I was going to bring Kenshin in for some sort of surprise, but that clearly isn't going to happen anytime soon, or if not ever. So there you go. Um, Damn, this chat is going fast. We've got almost 20 people here. That's pretty awesome. Um, what's your goal this year? My goal this year, thank you, Jason McCoy. My goal this year is to finish out the rest of the season and to really implement a lot of HW's growth. As I just posted on Facebook, we are 50 subscribers away from hitting 1,000 subscribers. That's the most that I have ever gotten, even before with my African 15 channel that was taken down the first time during 2007. This is the most I've ever had subscribers, so it's pretty cool. I want to thank everybody for subscribing. I want to thank everybody for being a part of ACW. It truly means a lot to me. Um, so yeah, thank you. But that would be my main goal this year. What is with the hashtag element that has been in your post recently? I have no further comment. Um, Brandon Cuevas asks, for everyone in Hakeem, who do you think will win the first ever Women's Royal Rumble? Yeah, I haven't given my full thoughts on this Women's Royal Rumble thing that's happening coming up at the Royal Rumble. First of all, first things first, it's long overdue. I appreciate the WWE for actually getting with the times and actually pulling off this type of match where they have enough women to do this, past or present, and it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna clearly be the draw of the Rumble this year. This is clearly the draw for people in terms of the Rumble. Now, having said that, I now granted I can go over the fact that Stephanie had to be the one to announce it, and we all know what that meant. I can go into the fact that all people broke kayfabe when they made that announcement, including Absolution when that happened. That made no fucking sense. I can go into detail how this is just another PR maneuver to just say women are awesome, fuck yeah, instead of actually doing something that makes sense. Which this still makes sense, but that's not the priority here. I can say all that, but what I will say though is that this should be an interesting match. It should be an interesting Royal Rumble matchup. In terms of who I should think, in terms of who do I think is going to win, as opposed to who I think should win. I think who should win it, quite frankly, I think who should win it, I think it should be either Becky Lynch. I think if you want to pull out the underdog role, I think Becky should win the first Rumble match for the women. Or if you have to do it, if you have to do it, then you might as well give it to Sasha Banks. That way, Alexa can drop it to either who, Bayley or Asuka, before WrestleMania. Then you have Sasha turn heel at WrestleMania by winning the title there, and maybe be the one to break Asuka's undefeated streak. Um, don't expect Ronda Rousey there. I don't see Ronda Rousey being in there. There hasn't been any really strong reports that she's going to really be at the Rumble. They're all speculation at this point, so I wouldn't put too much into that. Do expect a lot of NXT recruits, so as much as I think they're overrated, you're probably going to get like Billie Kay and Peyton Royce involved in that. You're probably going to get Ember Moon, the NXT Women's Champion, involved in there. You'll probably get some, Mae Young competitors in there like Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler, or maybe a Tony Storm appearance again. Who knows? But there's a lot of speculation as to what's going to happen with this Women's Royal Rumble. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully they do it justice. Hopefully they do it right, and hopefully the right answer. I mean the right person wins that match. So kudos to them. Um, Although John Mercer brings up a good point, VWF and SCA were doing this way before WWE even thought of this idea. So another instance of virtual wrestling being ahead of the curve over pro wrestling. Imagine that. Um, Hakeem, how's life? By Jason McCoy. Thank you. Life has been good for the most part. This holiday season, I just had to just do a lot of things in terms of life and work and school and other things in between. So I haven't really gotten the time to get involved in ACW. What I will say about ACW, if you just got the post earlier today, that next week we'll be finally posting the final impulse before Victory. Victory itself will be posted in 2 weeks' time, so the week after that impulse episode will be Victory and the direct. So I've got all those in line. So just to let you guys know about that, I don't want to keep you guys in the dark about that anymore. Brandon Johnson, Hakeem, were Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan Fighter released from ACW? They were released. Um, Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. I've always wanted to bring Pokemon into ACW, but it had to be the right Pokemon. I thought Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan were the right Pokemon at the time, but then I guess I just lost interest and I didn't see where they really fit in future plans. So I did let them go, unfortunately. So, but that doesn't mean I'm opposed to still bringing in more Pokemon. As a matter of fact, let me keep quiet. Never mind. I'm revealing a bit too much. Hakeem, when you hit 1,000 subs, are you gonna do a face reveal? I won't say no. I won't guarantee it, but I won't say no. Let's put it that way. Um, let's see. I'm just gonna drink a little bit of water. My throat's a little bit raspy, but for the record, folks, water is the greatest drink of all time, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Let's see. Let's see. Any questions here? Have you heard the rumors of Sakura from DCA versus Reiko from ACW? No, I have not. I haven't really paid attention to any CAW related stuff during my absence, as I was just stating. So, I haven't heard any rumors about that. But I did hear, as someone posted earlier, that Sakura won the Wildcats title from Carmen Cortez. Is that what I'm hearing from? If that's the case, it's well deserved. And that's going to be very interesting coming into this year in particular, but I'll leave it at that. I see a lot of people are naming which Pokemon would they like to see in ACW. Machoke. Yeah, Machoke would make sense. Lucario. Hitmonchan. I mean, if you guys want to post what Pokemon you want to see in ACW, that'd be pretty cool. I'm not opposed to bringing in Pokemon into ACW. Just gotta kind of make sense, and I kind of have to be able to create them. So it was hard. It was hard to create a. Well, Hitmon Chan was kind of okay to create. Hitmon Lee was the one that was hard. But see, I had the Code Breaker CD, so I can be able to hack certain things here and there, so I got away with it. But yeah, herbal tea is the next best drink after water. Yeah, I can agree with that. Although I prefer green tea, but herbal tea is not bad either. Um, hey Hakeem, have you heard of Lil Wayne's Dedication 6 mixtape? No, I have not. I'm not a Lil Wayne fan. Even during its height, when he was releasing the Carter 2 and 3, I wasn't really a fan of Lil Wayne. Um, I don't like hate him. I don't, I'm not one of these hip hop purists. I think, Lil Wayne is the reason why hip hop is trash. I used to be that purist, but I'm not anymore. But Lil Wayne has his lane, and I guess shout outs to him for making his money and all that. I'm just not a fan of his, but different strokes for different folks. Pause. Um, let's see. Was that from Buck N5? Was that Sakura shirt he wore hard to create and make, sir? No, not really. It was basically me just getting a Sakura picture and just posting it on the shirt. That was not really that hard. But I'm glad that actually got over, though. Um, have you filmed the GWM versus HW show yet? Parts of it, not the whole thing. And anyways, that's coming out during Animania 5 week anyway, so there'll be time. And you guys are going to love it, too, so. Um, thoughts on Braun versus Kane versus Brock at the Royal Rumble? I don't care, honestly. Brock's carrying that title to WrestleMania. There's no point now in putting in. There's no point in putting the title on Braun at this point. You missed the boat at No Mercy last year when Braun was hot, when Braun had everything, when Braun had the wrestling world talking, where him versus Brock was a money draw, where Braun should have been crowned right then and there. But ever since he dropped that ball, Braun he's still that guy, but it's not the same as it used to be. So this looks like it's compensation for that. But there's no point in putting it on Braun right now because Brock is going to carry it to WrestleMania at this point. And there's definitely no point in putting it on Kane in 2018. So Brock has to win here. I don't really want Brock to still be Universal Champion at this point, but I mean, honestly, he has to kind of wear it to WrestleMania. So, unfortunate. Jason McCoy, since VidMe is gone, what now? Um, it sucks that VidMe's gone. I really did believe it as some sort of alternative to YouTube that I could really feel I could build an audience within 2 to 3 years, but YouTube is too powerful. That's really what the problem is with YouTube. Shout out to Daily Motion, but its video player isn't really user friendly, and there's just a lot of things that make it hard to upload constantly on Daily Motion. YouTube, it's just too powerful. It's got Google backing, and you can take that how you want, but YouTube is just a powerful source that I don't see any alternative beating at this current time. Um, why is Kane involved in that match? I have no idea. I haven't really been following WWE at least consistently for like 2 years now. I just read the results, maybe look at a couple segments here and there, or matches here and there, but I don't watch a full 3 hour Raw. Are you kidding me? And I usually work on Mondays too, so it's like, are you kidding me? Um, hey Hakeem, do you think Kenny is the weakest leader of the Bullet Club? Financial wise, draw wise, probably not, obviously, but in my opinion, I think he is. And that's not an indictment on Kenny Omega or anything. Kenny Omega is tremendous. He's a great talent. It's just personally to me, I'm sick of the Bullet Club. I'm kind of over the Bullet Club. I know it's picked up steam now, last year and this year, because of the likes of him and the Young Bucks and Cody and being the elite and all that stuff. But I'm just kind of over the Bullet Club at this point. And Finn reuniting with Gallus and Anderson on Monday too. That was clearly a panic ploy. That was clearly a desperation move by the WWE to undermine tonight's Wrestle Kingdom 12 hype. That's clearly why they did that. I hope none of you lost that point when that happened. Finn, Gallus, Anderson only formed on Monday to undercut the Wrestle Kingdom 12 hype, which I don't think he even did, but whatever. I'm just kind of sick of it. So I liked Finn when he was the leader of the Bullet Club because it was an actual heel faction that was actually doing its job. AJ Styles being part of that was more of a shock factor thing with Styles being in Japan. But you can even see during that time that the Bullet Club thing was starting to lose its luster. And then you got Kenny Omega, who is a great talent. It's just I'm kind of over the Bullet Club at this point. Um, let's see. Let me see what else questions we have here. Hakeem, your thoughts on Rusev Day? Anything to keep Rusev over, anything that'll get Rusev TV time, I'm fine with at this point. Cause Rusev is one of those guys that should have been more, and he clearly wasn't. And the creative are bored with him, and they have nothing for him substantially. So, if this Rusev Day thing is something that'll keep him intact with the crowd and the company, then that's fine with me. As long as Rusev is making his money and getting a lot of TV time, all the power to him. Thoughts on Little Peep's death by overdose? He was an emo rap artist. Yeah, it's unfortunate. People don't know the consequences. At least this generation doesn't know the consequences of certain experimental drugs and what they can really do to you short term and long term. I did not. I'm not gonna fake and be fake and say I was a fan of Little Peep or I listened to Little Peep's music. I didn't, but it's just sad to see someone at that young age. I think it was what 22, 23. Excuse me. It's sad to see that you lose talent such you use a lot you lose um, people like that at such a young age with a lot of potential to make things right, and it's unfortunate. It's something that needs to be addressed within hip hop and just in general. But who knows? Um, Let me see here. Rusev should have had a world title shot by now. Well, he's had multiple world title shots. It's just it never materialized for whatever reason I do not know. Biggest monster who WWE dropped the ball on: Ryback, Rusev, or Braun? It's got to be Ryback because Braun's still at the top, although his momentum's kind of stalled, and Rusev is still on TV, and now it's over with this Rusev Day stuff, so he can still be salvageable too. But Ryback, they definitely fucked Ryback up. I remember going to a WWE live show for Raw actually here in Sacramento. I think that was in 2012. Yeah, 2012. That was during CM Punk's title reign, and that was during the later portion of the year where Ryback was a big babyface. He was white hot. The crowd did the "Feed Me More" chant in unison. It was loud. Even I looked around. I was like, "Holy crap! This dude is over." I mean, I love Punk, but they might have to pull a trigger on giving Ryback the world title here. I don't see how you can just not look around here and just say we don't give Ryback the title anytime soon. He was even bigger than Cena at the time, so I definitely think, yeah, I definitely think Ryback was the biggest ball drop. But quite frankly, my ideal choice would have been none of those three. It would have been Nia Jax. What a the WWE have dropped the ball on her so bad. One of the most ineffective heel monsters I have ever seen in WWE and pro wrestling history. It is absolutely ridiculous that Nia Jax not only has even sniffed a world title shot consistently with her size and her lineage and her connections, but they treat her now as some sort of goof, giant, big woman that can't be able to get the job done when possible. It's ridiculous, and you're seeing Sasha Banks tap her out, and then her and Bailey or Asuka beating her by pinfall. It's ridiculous. That's not how you treat a monster. That's not how you book a monster properly. That's ridiculous. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I had done that with Broly? Can you imagine if I had done that with Broly all these times in ACW? You would crap on it, and you would rightfully so crap on it. So, oh wow, excuse me, my brothers Ike Braun and you know Jukin are playing music there. But yeah, anyway, so it's ridiculous the way that WWE booked their heels. They don't know how to book heels and faces anymore, and they use the excuse that it's 2018, the crowd decides who they want to like, who they want to boo, so heels and faces don't exist anymore. That's a lazy ass, half-assed bullshit excuse for a company that just simply doesn't care. You can book heels and faces correctly and properly to where the crowd will be emotionally invested. It still works. It's one of the best things. It's a morality play when you do that in pro wrestling. So don't tell me it doesn't work in 2018, especially in 2018. So, anyways, um, do it. Who do you think is gonna win the Super Bowl? I'll be safe and probably say the Patriots. Although I think the Patriots can be beatable though. The Steelers had it. The Steelers almost had them in that one game 2 weeks ago, but I think the Patriots probably are going to repeat, which is whatever. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of disinterested with football this season, and not because my Broncos sucked this season. Thanks, Osweiler, you piece of shit. But it's just been a boring season to me. Like, there's been some good games here and there, but overall, it's just been one of the weaker seasons I've ever witnessed in football history. But that's just me. Um, Looney Jeremy. Best heel turn in CAW outside of ACW. It's probably the Spider-Man heel turn in SCAW, which led to the Nintendo World Order or No DQ World Order. Still one of my favorite. Yeah, it might have to be that one because I still love that. I still love that moment. Yeah, that's probably it. Let's see. College football was better than the NFL this year. I agree. I absolutely do agree. I couldn't. I wasn't able to watch Georgia and Oklahoma because I had to work yesterday. I mean, or Monday. But I did watch Clemson and Alabama. I wanted Clemson to win, but Clemson dropped the ball. No pun intended. But man, I missed that Oklahoma Georgia game. That looked like a great game. So you're gonna get like an all SEC match between Alabama and Georgia. It's gonna be a great football game. Um, Let me see here. Late thoughts on the Triple H Survivor Series fiasco, beating Jinder in India, and wasting 6 months of our time. You know, it's funny. People like to bash Triple H for, I mean, sorry, well, him too, but people like to bash Vince McMahon for being out of touch and being ego driven and being someone that doesn't get wrestling in 2018. And all of that is true. I'm not denying that. I'm not arguing with anybody who says that. But come on, folks. The Triple H love fest has got to stop. He's really no better. He's honestly no better to me. Like, the only reason why he gets away with it because he signed your favorite independent stars or foreign stars all over the world, and they put them together in dream matches in his little NXT brand that would lose money if it wasn't for WWE backing. It's I'm sorry, like I'm one of those guys. Maybe you've probably know this because with the ACW and all, but I'm one of those guys that love to tell stories. I just happen to have great matches as a bonus. And there's been a lot of great matches in ECW. But I'm one of those guys that loves to tell a good story because stories are devices that really can captivate an entire audience more than any match could. Um, and with Triple H, it feels like he's just trying to sign the hottest free agents or the hottest independent stars around the world just to compensate for the fact that they can't tell a story or create a character anymore or create a heel or a babyface. And people want to see that on a big scale on Raw and SmackDown, and you already know Raw and SmackDown are as mediocre as they are now. Can you imagine all that booking with Triple H if that were to happen? You know, Vince McMahon is out of touch and all that, but he can still pull out surprises. He can still pull out um, moments for audiences here and there once in a while. But this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous that we can't tell stories. We can't use character development. We can't do good writing. We can't have any plot devices that make sense. We just have to rely on the in-ring wrestling. And let me get the in-ring purists to calm down a little bit because I know Wrestle Kingdom 12 is coming up soon. I love me some in-ring wrestling, okay? But it's not the be-all end-all of professional wrestling, and it damn sure isn't the be-all end-all in terms of sports entertainment or the WWE's brand of wrestling. The WWE historically has always succeeded when stories were the main forefront of the product instead of the wrestling. Period. And the two eras, the golden era and the attitude era, will tell you otherwise. That's what they will tell you. So, it's ironic, but like as he said, wrestling isn't always about wrestling, and that's true. Um, so, Triple H, I feel like Triple H is a very good chess player. He's fooling all of the in-ring purists and you know independent fan base to like NXT and his style of booking because it's their favorite stars and yada yada here, yada yada there. But I'm sorry, it's just it's not my cup of tea, if you will. It's not something that I prefer. Um, that's just me. Um, hey Hakeem from Do It, what are your thoughts on Vince trying to bring back the XFL? Yeah, yeah. Vince apparently started his own little company called Alpha Entertainment. That'll be way apart from WWE. So I assume this will be WWE. I mean Vince's way of exiting from the WWE eventually to transition into Alpha Entertainment. And it looks like he's trying to get back the XFL. And quite frankly, I know people are laughing at the XFL, and I did too when I initially heard it. But think about it: the NFL is seeing their lowest attendance, their lowest ratings, and their lowest appeal in years, maybe even decades. If I'm going to bring back an alternative to football, this would be the time to do it. And I think Vince still hasn't gotten over the fact that the XFL truly failed. And I think he wants to be able to prove that wrong. He wants to prove the doubters, the haters, and the naysayers wrong by trying to bring back that type of football, but this time in a different era to where it could be succeeding even more. Now, will it succeed? Who knows? It may not. It might very well for a short time. But Vince is a risk taker. Say a lot of things about Vince, and most of them are true, but he is also a risk taker when it comes to business. And that's something to commend, for the short term at least. So, an XFL kind of alternative for Vince McMahon 2018, it's very possible. And with a lot of players sick of the NFL's behavior towards certain things on and off the field, I mean, there's a lot of free agents in the NFL. You wouldn't be surprised if some of them start joining, the XFL. It could be a problem. I mean, the NFL will still be the premier brand, but it could be a true problem for the XFL. I mean, it could be a true problem for the NFL if the XFL were able to come back and whatnot. Oh wait, give me 1 second here. All right, I'm back. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on the XFL when it comes to the NFL. So there you go. Um, Buck N5 was a Shield reunion jinx in your opinion. First Roman. Oh, let me see here. First Roman got sick. Now Dean has a severed injury. Will be out for a while. Yep, the Shield reunion flopped. Let's call it as I see it. Maybe some of you guys, not saying you guys in the chat, but some of you wrestling aficionados, wrestling journalists, wrestling media, wrestling insiders, whatever, you might be too pussy to say it, and you might have a lot of connections you want to kiss ass to. But I'll say, because I have nobody to kiss my ass, or me to kiss anyone's ass, the Shield reunion flopped. And I'll even go one further. The Shield reunion sucked. It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything for ratings. It didn't do anything for attendance. It didn't do anything for Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns individually. It's even stalled to the point where Reigns now has an IC title that he's just coasting along with until WrestleMania, where he's probably going to have to face Brock once again for the Universal title at a WrestleMania main event. Rollins is doing nothing. He's right now doing a tag team run with Jason Jordan, where probably Jason Jordan's going to turn on Rollins to set up a singles match because Dean now is injured, so you can't do the Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania. That's all this is. completely fucked up the Shield reunion. You know why they did? Because here's the thing: the Shield, for as much as I did like them, as much as a lot of people loved them, the Shield came in at a time where the ratings were starting to decline, where the ratings were starting to come down from their 4.0 average. So they came in at a pretty mediocre time, with them being the shining light of that mediocrity. Number two, they broke up the Shield a year too early. I'm convinced that the Rollins heel turn was ill advised. It gave Rollins some shine, sure. It let Reigns break on his out on his own, and Ambrose to a lesser degree, but they broke down the Shield a year too early, where you could have had them face the Wyatts, and then later on you could have had them face the Club when AJ Styles came in. You could have had them face the New Day eventually. You could have had them face the Miz Taraj, but they broke them up too early just to try to get some sort of ratings pop that night, and it worked for a short term, but then it went back even lower than average. Number three, every single world title reign that each Shield member had was either mediocre or bad. Rollins had one of the worst world title reigns I have ever witnessed, and it was one of the reasons why I stopped following and watching WWE very regularly and consistently. He was one of the reasons when he was champion. Roman Reigns, his world title reign sucked too. His was bad, and WWE were trying to force feed it to be something that wasn't bad, but unfortunately it didn't work because people just simply didn't like Roman Reigns as the champion. Dean Ambrose probably had the better of the Shield world title reigns, but even his was still mediocre. He didn't really do anything to elevate the title, or elevate himself for that matter, so that when it went back to AJ Styles was able to take the title and raise it up to a higher pedestal than Dean Ambrose ever did as world champion. So, of course, when you bring back the Shield for no reason, when you don't tie up loose ends with Rollins turning on Reigns and Ambrose, all of them all of a sudden are just back together, the band's back together. Of course, it's not going to make sense, and a lot of people aren't just going to gravitate to a Shield reunion when a lot of those people weren't really watching the product at the time. Now Raw is hitting below 2.0 averages on ratings points, on the Nielsen ratings. So yeah, the Shield reunion flopped. And everyone that's going to argue otherwise needs to understand that, what did the Shield ultimately accomplish? Think about it. What did the Shield ultimately accomplish? And I'm not even talking about the reunion. I'm talking about the group itself. Because those are the three that the WWE were pushing as the new face, the new era of the WWE. But what have they really done? What have they really possibly done? Whew, sorry about that. But yeah, what have they really done? They really haven't done anything to change the landscape of the company. So, you know. But then again, what star? Think about it anyway. What star could really make the WWE that big of a brand? You don't really have one. I'm sorry. Like I'm trying to be nice about it here, but the Shield ultimately failed on their own right. Sorry. So, um, let's see here. Raiden says, I mean, the only reason the Shield reunion happened was because of marketing, sales, and shit. Yeah, pretty much. It was just only there to sell merchandise and get nostalgia feels when it wasn't even that long ago that they broke up. Hey, Hakeem, what are your thoughts? Hunter Banks asked. What are your thoughts on the rumor of John Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Too little, too late. I don't care anymore. The streak's broken. Cena's getting ready to retire or leave the WWE. You can tell. You can clearly tell that's going to go happening. I don't think the Undertaker has it. I don't even think the Undertaker has it in him anymore to do a big match like that with Cena. The time has passed. You should have done that a decade ago, ironically enough. So I don't care anymore. What the fuck is that in the background? Yeah, that was my brothers keep playing music and they were just asking me a question. I just kind of had to answer. I forgot to mute my mic. Um, Buck and 5, how do you feel about Woken Matt in WWE? It sucks. Plain and simple. I'll give you another hot take here. I'm just gonna give you hot takes here because I haven't been here in a while. But yeah, Woken Matt sucks. and we all knew it would suck. It's watered down as all hell. Give all the shit you want to give about TNA and Impact Wrestling for their years of mismanagement and poor writing, and which is all deserved and everything. Even though I am looking forward to their new direction coming up this year, but the one thing that they did get right was the broken Matt Hardy gimmick. And you know why they got it right? You want to know why I got it right? It's simple. Because it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. The broken universe gimmick was just supposed to be some sort of play on towards a bad movie parody that you've seen in many movies in your years and years of watching movies. The broken Matt thing was supposed to be a parody of a bad movie parody, meaning TNA Impact didn't take that whole thing seriously, and it caught on because it was so bad it was so good. But that wasn't a good way though, and it benefited the company and Matt and everybody around it. But of course, with WWE, they like to overproduce, they like to overdo things, they like to overanalyze shit, and now they're taking this woken Matt thing seriously to where now that they actually are trying to make him face Bray Wyatt in some serious form of mind games, and it's like it's not working. Bray Wyatt hasn't mattered in 3 years at least. Hell, you forget Bray Wyatt used to be a world champion. I surely did. But yeah, this thing is flopping. This also proves that Jeremy Borash truly was the mastermind of the Broken Universe with his vision, his insight when it was in TNA. He clearly was the one that was the mastermind behind making Matt's ideas become reality. Because now without Jeremy Borash, without that type of backing, this woken Matt thing just looks like a very watered down, try hard version of what worked one time. And I think we're in 2018. I think that gimmick's just way past its expiration date. I think this is just Matt coasting until Jeff comes back, even if he comes back at all. I mean, I don't know. I heard rumors that Jeff Hardy didn't want to even leave Impact. He wanted to stay in TNA, and that maybe once his contract expires, he might make that move again, which TNA would definitely need right now if they're going to look to capitalize on the new plans of the new regime. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Woken Matt, I hate it. It's a try hard maneuver to try to strike lightning twice in a bottle, and it's just not working. It's just not working. Period. Do you think Bray should leave WWE, or can he still be salvaged? I don't know. I think maybe maybe Bray needs to leave. But then again, it's like I don't know how well he would even do in the independent scene, where the independent scene is all about all wrestling and little characters or stories. I don't know how that would work for Bray. But I feel right now that his character right now is just at a standstill. It's at a plateau. There's nothing new about Bray Wyatt. There's nothing cool about Bray Wyatt anymore. There's nothing interesting, original, or unique about Bray Wyatt anymore. It's just him just coasting along the lines, running through the motions, giving one of his spooky promos that we've all heard before, but never materializes to anything bigger or greater. Maybe we need just like a 6 month break from him. Maybe he just needs to go away for a while. I'm not saying to change his gimmick to something else, but maybe just take Bray Wyatt off TV for 6 months. And then when you need a person like Bray Wyatt to show up on Raw or SmackDown, then you can bring him back and re-energize his character and get him back emotionally invested with the crowd. But I think him on TV right now is doing him no justice. I just think you need Bray Wyatt to just take a break for 6 months. I think we as fans, and I think Bray himself and the company, I think we just all need a break from Bray Wyatt, in my opinion. So, hey, ACW, can you do bragging rights after Animania 5? I don't know what that. Oh, like a next ACW event bragging rights? I don't know. It has to make sense. You know what I mean? I can't just do a bragging rights type of pay per view and not make sense. But that's not the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. Do It asks, which title reign was worse, Rollins WWE title reign or Kevin Owens Universal title reign? Oh, Rollins over Owens all day, every day. Yeah, Kevin Owens was uninspired. Kevin Owens' Universal title reign was just a plot device for Goldberg to win it, and it really didn't materialize into anything. But at least I could tolerate it in certain cases here and there. I can tolerate Kevin Owens as that champion. I didn't really like it per se, but I can tolerate it. Rollins actually made me stop watching wrestling for the rest of that year, and has made me not really got back into WWE in that aspect for like what now, 2.5 years now. Rollins as world champion, which I had so much high hopes for when it initially started, it ruined my viewership of WWE at the time. He was that bad. He was that horrible. He was that tedious. The same type of match that made no sense. His promos are awful. Getting bitched at by every other challenger, including John Cena when they had that feud during SummerSlam. It was a bad title reign. Very, very bad title reign. Um, Hey Hakeem, I recently started my own colleague on my channel. It's one of the things that I plan for my channel. Can you give me some advice on how to improve it in the future? Yeah, I get asked this a lot, and what I tell them is three things, right? And people probably know the three things at this point, but the three things are pretty much this: one, if you have not already, get a capture card or a video device that can record your league very properly and professionally. You have to have that in 2018 on YouTube, or else people just won't. As much as good stuff you might have before the fact, people just simply will not sit there and watch, an hour or even less of a show with you recording on your camera. And this is coming from somebody that started ACW recording with a shaky camera. So invest in a capture card. Two, be unique. Make sure you stand out, but don't stand out for the sake of standing out, or else you overdo it, you overtry, overcompensate for what you're trying to do. Just be unique. Just kind of do your own thing. And number three, have fun. Always have fun doing CAW, virtual wrestling, whatever you want to call it. Have fun doing it, because when you stop having fun doing it, it becomes a chore. And once it becomes a chore, you don't want to do it anymore. Me, I've had to take breaks here and there. This current break wasn't because I was bored of HW, I just was doing other things at the time. But I've had those moments too, and I just took a break instead of quitting altogether. So just have fun with it. Um, was Seth's title run worse than Jinder's? Oh my God. You know what? I'm gonna still say yes, because Jinder's title reign was horrible, but I just didn't watch. It was easy for me to turn off the TV during SmackDown last year because Jinder was champion, so I didn't watch. Seth actually ruined WWE for me for a while as champion. It was that bad. People need to really go back to 2015 and understand what I truly mean when I say how bad Rollins was as a world champion. It was really, really god awful. Um, Jeremy, which is better, Okada's long run or Punk's title reign? Uh, I'll probably be biased and say Punk's, but Okada has been a really good world champion, and I know I'm gonna probably be against the majority here, but I think Okada should retain tonight against Naito. I think he should retain. I think he is the ace of the company. He is the face of New Japan, in my opinion. Um, he has done really well representing the company. He is one of the more popular faces in wrestling today. And as much as you want to pull that NATO trigger, I think Okada retaining the title tonight is probably the best way you can go about it. NATO will definitely win that title in the near future, probably this year, anyways. But I think for right now, Okada retains here is the best option. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Um, what are your thoughts on SMF recent return? I liked it. I saw certain highlights here and there. I haven't watched the full show, but when I heard Bob Ross, man, brought back a lot of memories. So I'm definitely going to be checking out the return of SMF. I don't think it's a full return though, but I think it's going to be like an occasional schedule here and there. So I'm looking forward to it. Um, let's see here. Your thoughts of that bullshit net neutrality? Um, well, the thing is that the battle's not over yet, because that type of those type of rules have been voted before and they just died in the court. So Yeah, I didn't agree with with the vote, obviously, and it was a vote that was probably coming anyways. But that doesn't mean the battle's over. So I want to see the next few steps of what they do with that whole sort of ordeal before I try to make any final declarations of it. But that definitely wasn't a good first step. Um, Over at OCBF, Mr. JSA Gohan beat the living piss off of Isakov at Ragnarok. This is hot news all over the virtual wrestling world. Well, Gohan has to make a living, you know. Can't live off of being suspended and not being paid, right? But yeah, good for him, I guess. Um, how bad has the main roster ruined Bailey in your opinion? Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Bailey was a underdog that could also be a badass when it was coming to the ring, but now she it seems like she's just a big kid. She's like a man child, right, or a woman child for all the offended SJWs there, I guess. But she's like a child inside an adult's body, and it's a turn off because it becomes too much. Kind of like Eugene. It was funny and cool for a while, but then when you overdo it, you know what I'm saying? Um, Hakeem, I have a colleague called BCL, and it sadly does not have the success HW has. Don't worry about the success. The success comes later. If you're passionate about it, if you're dedicated to your league, if you're really a part of it, that'll come in later. You have to really work hard at it. You can't just half-ass it. You know, ACW is close to getting 1,000. It's close to getting 1,000 subscribers. But that took a lot of work. That took a lot of work, and I'm proud of that. Um, it's been a long time coming. So hopefully, hopefully, um, a lot of colleagues just take patience with it and not expect um, overnight success. I guess so. That's what you can say. The most cringy thing you have done in ACW that you thought was cool at the time. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let me see here. Which one? There's a lot of them. Hmm. All right. Yeah. Okay. Terra in general. Terra being Terra being the crow sting of ACW was pretty cringe. Now that I look back onto it, like I don't even know why I did that now. Initially, I guess it was because Nightwing attacked Terra right during the Nightwing Beast Boy feud, and then Terra came back as a crow sting. But it didn't make sense. It's crazy going back, and I wish I had my old videos that weren't deleted, but it's crazy. Back in the first 2 years of ACW, for the most part, I didn't really have any coherent stories. I had like simple stories that were like surface level, but man, I really didn't have a lot of stories that made sense or connected with each other. I just said, "Oh, Tara got attacked by Nightwing. We don't build up on that. We just bring her back as a Crow Sting parody." And it's like, yeesh, man. I guess I thought it was cool at the time because I guess because I was watching a lot of throwback Crow Sting moments, maybe, and I thought, okay, let's bring back Tara's Crow Sting, but it just never made sense. And and it just she didn't wrestle like a brooding figure. She didn't act like a brooding figure. Her makeup was trash. I'm not really a fan of Tara. The way I used Tara in ACW, I thought I could have done better. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? And probably Ike and Marth being part of the JSA. It's probably up there too. I thought it was cool at the time because it would have been a different outlook of heroes becoming villains, but it just didn't work. And I know you guys have talked about how that didn't really work for themselves in JSA. I kind of agree. It just didn't work. Now that I look back into it, so but yeah, those are some moments of cringeworthy silly stuff that I thought was cool at the time. Um, is it bad that Jericho and Omega is the only match I know from Wrestle Kingdom? Not really. I mean, Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan has their own niche of fans, so it's not expected that a lot of people will know a lot of things. Jericho is a mainstream name, so of course his name is going to proceed over a lot of people that aren't familiar with the New Japan brand. And quite frankly, let's be honest, Omega Jericho is the draw here for New Japan. Look, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward, to Jay White and Tanahashi myself. I'm looking forward to Okada and Naito myself. But let's not fool ourselves into thinking what the draw of this show is here tonight. So, um, let's see here. Yeah, for those that are going to try to create Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, tread carefully. That's all I'll say. Did you see DCA Rumble Roses and Survival? No, I have not. Like I said, I haven't seen any car-related stuff during my absence. I just haven't been catching up on anything. What are your thoughts on Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie, and the teaser of Pokemon 21st movie? The Jungle movie I loved. There could have been things that I would have corrected. There could have been. There were certain pacing issues that I had with it. I felt like the movie was going pretty fast for the middle portion of the movie, but the ending I loved it. Obviously, it answered a lot of questions that we've had for the series for a while. Um, but overall, I thought it was a good movie, and I thought it was a great conclusion to one of the greatest cartoons of the '90s, in my opinion. In the Pokemon 21st movie, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the teaser. I kind of distanced myself from Pokemon these last couple of years, so the world's greatest tribute to Gohan, made for Naruto, was pretty cringy. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I liked the song. I liked the song, so I thought I could use it for Naruto. But looking back at it, and I wish I had that video to show people what work I did with that. But yeah, I can see why people thought it was cringy. I can see why people thought it was cringy. It was something. Let's put it that way. Um, if the JSA were to win at Animania 4, how would things be different? Well, you wouldn't have a newscast, would you? And ACW would be talked about in the past tense. It would be talked about in the past tense. It's kind of like one of those questions. What if WCW had beat the WWF in the Monday Night Wars? You know what I'm saying? Where would all the legends of the where would Stone Cold, Rock, Triple H, Undertaker be at? Would there even be a TNA? Would ECW still be around? Would Ring of Honor still be a thing? How would New Japan impact things because of their deal with WCW at the time? A lot of questions there too that people need to think about when it comes to that. Um, you hear Chris Jericho is dedicating his Wrestle Kingdom match to Chris Benoit? Yeah, I saw something about that earlier this morning that Chris Jericho was dedicating his match to Benoit and Guerrero. People gotta understand, and I'm not gonna get into the whole. I'm not gonna get into the whole Chris Benoit thing because I'm just not gonna do it. But Chris Jericho knew both of them personally, so it would be wrong for me. It would be very disingenuous and disrespectful, honestly, to me, to tell Chris Jericho how to feel about two people that he knew close. Now, I can judge him for why he does it. I can judge him for saying why would he dedicate it to a murderer, but that's for me. But I'm not going to tell him to not do it. Um, People got to understand though that Benoit did wrestle for New Japan too as the Pegasus Kid, so it's there's a little bit of history there. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Jericho has his reasons, and I'll leave it at that. How has Enzo done as cruiserweight champion so far, in your opinion? I don't care. Enzo, I just don't care. I don't care about the cruiserweight division. I mean, I mean, I'll put it this way. I probably care about the cruiserweight division more than WWE does, which is none. So imagine WWE caring about it. I think Goldust is now wrestling for 205 Live. So that's all you need to know about that division in itself. So let's see here. Yeah, Ian, I answered your bragging rights idea. I just said never say never. I was just saying you could probably see something like that in the near future, but there's no guarantee that'll happen. Um, Thoughts on the Rich Swan arrest and suspension? Well, there's been conflicting reports about what really happened that night with Rich Swan and his girlfriend, which is also another independent wrestler in Sue Young. Let's assume that the reports are true. Then the WWE handled this situation perfectly. You're a professional athlete, and hell, if she was the one that initiated the physical altercation, fine, that's one thing. That's on her. But you are also a professional athlete. The first word of that is professional. You have a certain code, you have a certain image that you have to obtain when you work for a company like the WWE, and when you do something like that, you're obviously going to reap the consequences. Now, if Rich Swan, which I believe he's out on bail right now, but if Rich Swan, if this thing does go through court and he is convicted of it, and if it is all true, he'll be fired. That's how the domestic violence policy works in the WWE. So, um, people just need to be aware of what they do and what the consequences are for what they do. But that's just my opinion. Um, are there any storylines in ACW that you felt could have done better? Uh, Probably probably the Teen Titans DX thing. A lot of the answers that I'll probably give you is going to be coming from the early episodes of ACW because I just wasn't a storyteller at the time. I was just putting together matches that I thought made sense and just made like a one-dimensional linear storyline to connect all of it. But I wasn't necessarily a good storyteller. I wasn't a great storyteller and booker that I am now. So the Teen Titans DX feud, it didn't cultivate to anything that I wanted it to be because it just didn't. It didn't work. Um, because if I was booking it now, it would have been completely different. It would have been completely different. Maybe the tables would have flipped if it were in ACW today. Um, yeah, so that's just one storyline. Um, would you book Ikumi versus Death in ACW? I mean, if it calls for it, I guess that would be a thing. Kevin Mask or Tiger the Dark, who is better? Kaneka Man. I'll just say that. How about I just say Kaneka Man and call that a day? Um, who will be the surprise entrant who made his her debut return to the Royal Rumble? If we're counting surprise entrants, okay, let me just shoot down some right now. Now, no, it's not going to be Kenny Omega, so dead that right now. Um, I could see it being Ricochet because it's January. He is a free agent. He's free from his Lucha Underground contract, and then he'll be exceeding the 90-day compete clause to where he can now work for televised promotions. And it's January, and the Royal Rumble's in January, so it probably is going to be Ricochet. If you want to be honest, it may be Ricochet. But um, who else would it be? Like I said, Tony Storm could probably come back from the Mae Young Classic. Um, I do expect a lot of NXT involvement. So, like, No Way Jose could be involved there. Peyton Royce and Billy Kay for the women's match would be there. I do expect a lot of NXT calls for this Rumble, though. Especially even the women's side, if it's going to be an actual 30-woman Rumble. So, yeah. Um, hey, Hakeem, what is the worst anime you have watched this year or in the past? Yeah, I've been kind of empty on my anime this year, unfortunately. I actually need to finish up Food Wars. I haven't even finished that yet, but no spoilers, by the way. But the worst anime I've watched. I used to be a big fan of Monster Rancher, right? When I was a kid, I used to be a huge fan of Monster Rancher. I think it was 2 years ago that I went back to watch the whole Monster Rancher series again to see if it was my nostalgia. And with the exception of Tiger and maybe Holly, that show is awful to look back and watch now. Genki might be one of the worst protagonists I have ever witnessed in an anime, and Kirito exists, so you know it's got to be true. So Genki being able to beat monsters with her skate with his stupid inline skates, and then his stupid ugly sidekick Mochi trying to make Mochi some sort of Pikachu, Yoshi, Kirby hybrid to sell merchandise. But you can't do that if the monster's ugly. Pikachu's cute. He's adorable. Kirby does the same thing. Yoshi's an iconic figure. Those people are gonna sell merch. Who the hell is Mochi? He looks Mochi looked like an expired sushi bar, in my opinion. So that was awful. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What are the animes that I did not like back then? Um, the second season of Terraform Mars was trash. How can you take such a great, innovative anime like Terraform Mars, the first season, the gore, the emotional investment, the character development for each of the space cadets, and then turn it in to a typical sci-fi um, anime? That I will never understand. What was the other one? What was the other one? What was the other one that I watched last year? Fuck. What was the other one? What was the other one? Oh my god, I cannot believe it. There was another one that I was watching for a while, but I stopped. But I dropped it because it was that bad. Ugh, it's gonna bother me. Um, fuck, I don't know. I really don't know. Wow. Oh, there you go. So there you go. There's certain anime there. Excited for the new Lucha Underground season. I'm indifferent. There's rumors that this Lucha Underground season is going to be very much cut down by production. A lot of the talent from the past three seasons aren't going to be there. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see when it happens, but I'm surprised they even got a fourth season. And if this is the fourth season, this could very well be the last season. Um, how long till WWE books Asuka versus Kari in your opinion? Probably won't be for long. If they're trying to expand the WWE network to Japan, they'll take Kari and Asuka as a WrestleMania match, probably for the women's title. So I probably expect that sometime soon. Um, hey Hakeem, if you ever made a second channel to do other things like gaming or talk about your opinion on things, I would love to see it, and maybe we could on certain things. Yeah, I've thought about creating a third channel because I already have two, which is the main channel and the Mega Events channel. I was thinking about doing a third channel as kind of my non ACW channel to just talk about certain things here and there. As a matter of fact, I was probably going to plan on moving my newscast over to that third channel. So I was thinking about doing a podcast. As a matter of fact, I talked with my brothers, you know, Juke and Ike Braun, and I was talking about them about maybe doing a three-man podcast for this year, where we just shoot the shit about everyday topics. Maybe when it comes to politics or entertainment or music or movies or wrestling or sports or whatever life gives us in general. So we just shoot the shit. So I haven't ruled that out, but I do want to do some sort of podcast in the very near future. If not this year, in the very near future though, I do want to do that. And hopefully some of you guys that do love ACW and follow ACW, but would like me to talk about other things in depth and would like my opinions on a lot of things on a long-term basis, maybe you guys can migrate to that third channel. But I will definitely let you guys know if I do have a third channel of that nature, though. What are your thoughts on Grimm's Toy Show? I really don't have thoughts on that show. I mean, on that channel, but I heard they did some sort of worked shoot angle last year, or some shit like that. I don't follow them, so I can't really tell you. What are your thoughts on Black Butler? I didn't really watch Black Butler. I got the craze at the time, but I didn't really watch it. It was just wasn't my thing personally. Uh, Did you see the anime with Naruto's child? Who, Boruto? Yeah, I'm following it. It's not Naruto, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I think people are over exaggerating with calling Boruto a failure or whatever. It's still a good show. It's just not Naruto. But I don't think anyone expected it to be Naruto. But that's just me. Well, wow, people. I mean, I thank you guys for supporting me on a podcast thing. So yeah, we'll probably do a podcast in the near future. So the Logan Paul shit, which Looney Jeremy just asked. Let me drink some water here for this one. Logan Paul and Jake Paul, for that matter. Let me preface by saying this, right? I was gonna address this next week on the next newscast, but fuck it, I might as well do it now. I want to preface it by saying this. I did not watch that video, and I will not watch that video for future references. I don't know how personal I want to be about this, but you know what? I think I'm going to be because I want people. I want to stress how important this is to me. Now, I don't want to hear people call me. I don't want people to think I'm being an SJW or some sort of triggered person when I say this. 'Cause there's a difference, okay? I think I think Logan Paul is a piece of shit for what he did, and I'll tell you why. Because he used a topic like suicide, and I'm not one to call for people censoring or trying to change comedy because I love dark comedy. I do, but this wasn't dark. This wasn't dark comedy. This wasn't even really comedy. It was a poor attempt to comedy by taking a subject like suicide and mental health as a financial and monetary gain for what you do. I think I think it's pretty classless to go to a forest in Japan, a suicide forest in Japan, where it is sacred over there, and try to get a laugh off of it to be controversial. I find that corny because that's not really being controversial. It's not even being edgy. It's just being a douche trying to use the cloak of comedy to excuse your bullshit. I think, first of all, I'm a little offended that it took this for the majority of people around the world to think that the Paul brothers are shit. They've always been shit. Both Logan and Jake. And it took this event for people to finally realize that. They've been shit. So this is nothing to be surprised about. And ultimately, this is not going to affect their fan base, their impressionable teenage fan base. It won't do nothing to them. But it is telling that people that want to help others that are going through a lot of things in their life are willing to use that joke for their own gain, as if they don't care about what people are going through, where they have suicidal thoughts, where they have poor mental health. And maybe this is a little bit personal to me because I've had those thoughts before. I've had those thoughts before. I've had those thoughts before. I've had suicidal thoughts before in my head many times. And this is ultimately why I will always love ACW. And I will always give you guys love. I will always love the fans for what they do because it kept me from ultimately doing it. I can't imagine where I would be or what I would be doing if I hadn't had ACW. I have looked I have looked straight at the barrel of a gun before. I have had actual pills in my hand that I was seconds away from consuming. I have I have gone through a lot of things that I wouldn't wish anybody, not even enemies of mine, I would never wish them to go through that pain and grief. Um, and I'll be honest. And I'll be honest. I initially used to be one of those people that thought, oh well, if you commit suicide, you're weak. You clearly weren't strong enough to move on with your life. You clearly weren't this. You clearly weren't that. Until until it happens to you, right? Until that thing happens to you. Until you go through that pain. Until you go through that struggle, and you realize that sometimes it's the only option left. You feel like nobody cares about you. You feel like nobody can understand what you say. You feel like nobody could try to get through your mind as to what you were trying to do for them. So you're in an island on your own. I and I probably mentioned this a couple of years back, but I lost a good friend of mine 2 years ago to suicide. I used to go to a frequent local bar. Um, I used to go to a local frequent bar where I live, and he used to be a big guy. He was a army veteran, um, big guy. Every time I walked in there and I saw him, he would always give me a big hug. And I'm a big dude myself. I'm not like fat, but I'm big and I'm built. So he was able to give me a big hug and lift my feet away from the floor. And it was one of the like whenever you got a big hug like that, even when you were going through a downtime like I did during my period, that big hug would make you feel happy. It would light up your day. Um, and when I heard 2 years ago that he had nothing to live for and he committed suicide, it pierced me. Because although I don't know the situation that he went through, I understand the pain and grief that he had to have gone through to to get to that point. Because I've been there. I've been in the dark depths of depression a lot of times, and it's never fun. It's not always fun. Um, man, I'm getting a little emotional here, but I've been. I keep his memory in with me because I always think, what could have been if that had been me too. And then you put your loved ones through that pain. That's something that you only get one life. You don't get it back. Um, you know, so when I heard about the Logan Paul thing, it made me realize that suicide's a real thing. Mental health is it's a real thing with people. Um, And I'm not saying that you can't ever joke about suicide. Don't ever. Again, I'm not trying to be the no fun police. I'm not trying to be someone censoring comedy. You can definitely make jokes about suicide, and it'd be funny too. It's possible for that to happen. But the way Logan Paul did it, that wasn't comedy. That was taking advantage of a serious topic to get clicks and views. That's all that was. And he's a piece of shit for doing that. And he knows what he did because he had to apologize for it. He had to apologize for it on YouTube because he knew he fucked up. And even then, his apology didn't mean anything. Apparently, YouTube doesn't care. You can say the wrong opinion politically and get taken down on YouTube and demonetized. But doing an actual vlog about a forest full of dead people in a sacred place there in Japan and making light of it for people that are going through depression and mental health and illness. Oh, that can trend for 48 hours on YouTube as number one, and that tells you the priorities that that company has. Sorry, I don't take an apology seriously. When I see that guy posted on Twitter with a lot of hashtags and makes it about himself. Sorry, that's just me. So fuck you, Logan Paul. Fuck you too, Jake Paul. Fuck them both. Because there's ways of making jokes about suicide that can be funny and that can also cope with those that do go through mental illness and health. But it's another thing to take that topic of suicide and mental health and use it as a way to completely undermine people that are going through it today, including those in your fucking fan base, motherfucker. He has every right to do it. He has all the right to do that. But just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Um, but that the Logan Paul thing just kind of hit me personally because those he was making fun of in death, by the way, because they can't defend themselves. I've known people that went through that ordeal that are no longer with us today, and I've known that I've gone through it myself. So you know, condolences go out to the family and friends of people that they have lost due to suicide and depression and mental illness. Um, and if you personally, if you in the chat or anyone that's listening tonight or anyone in period that are just going through it, if you're going through any thoughts of depression, if you're going through any thoughts of mental health problems, if you're going through that as well, you can you can go ahead and you can try to talk to me. You can DM me on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever. You can call the suicide prevention hotline. Um, you know, if you want someone to talk to, there's a lot of people that are willing to listen. If you need someone to talk to, please, 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 go to someone that you trust, someone that you follow, someone that you love. Go and please talk to them if you have those thoughts as well. Because it's always a fight and battle with me, but I try not to go down that route. I try not to. I try to use a lot of things to keep me in in a good place, and I want you to be in that good place as well. That's all I'm saying. Um, but yeah, just be safe out there. That's all I would say. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Logan Paul thing. I guess. Sorry to bring a damper, bring a little depressing vibe on the newscast there, but you know, it's kind of a serious topic that I needed to kind of address. And I'm glad people can see that it's an important issue that we need to talk about. Um, uh, Hakeem, did you play W2K18? I have not played it yet. I just haven't been able to get it since uh, I've been absent, so I haven't been able to play it. I'm probably gonna buy it eventually, anyways, just to test to see what's going on. Um, yeah, so I'll probably get to it eventually. I will probably get to it eventually. Um, it's looking like we're running out of questions here, so I'll tell you what. Probably give it 10 more minutes, maybe like 10 more minutes, and we'll call it a night here for the newscast. Um, so, oh, excuse me. So we'll give you guys, I don't know, we'll give you guys 10 more minutes to get your final questions in before I call it a night. It feels great to be back here on the newscast. It feels great to be back doing ACW stuff again. Like I said, if you haven't heard already, I will be doing Impulse number 88, I believe it is. I'll be doing that next week. That'll be the final episode of Impulse before Victory. And then, speaking of Victory, Victory will be live on YouTube in 2 weeks' time, along with Direct will be a days before that. So just keep that in your just keep that in your mindset for that time being. Are you okay? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just wanted to be a little serious about that whole topic of the whole Logan Paul situation because it's very personal to me and it's very personal to those that I know very well that have either contemplated it or have unfortunately gone through it. I just wanted to talk about that, and I'm sorry if I kind of made the newscast a little dark and depressing like that. Just it's something that I needed to say personally for me. So what are your thoughts on Dalton Castle becoming Ring of Honor World Champion? It's probably well deserved. It's probably well deserved. I was kind of liking Cody's run as champion though, because it was different. But I guess Dalton winning is fine. I don't know if he'll drop it back to Cody or I don't know. He might just go to Jay Lethal again, or I don't know who can take it off Dalton Castle at this point. It might have to be Cody getting the title back, but who knows? Um, what's up, Hakeem? How you feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling good. I didn't want to kind of bring it down, but I had to bring it down. So, but I'm good now. I'm fine. I'm fine. Last question for the news for the last question for the stream here. What are your thoughts? Sorry. What are your New Year's resolutions, Hakeem? Granted, I never usually keep them, so I don't know why I like to make these resolutions. But if I had to, right? If I had to, my New Year's resolutions of ACW to finish the season this year, and also get started on some projects ACW related that I am looking forward to. Um, I would also like to start a podcast, well, non ACW podcast, sometime soon. Maybe this year, but who knows? And what else? What else? What else? New Year's resolution. Probably drop a couple pounds too, honestly. Like I'm not fat. Like I'm not like fat to where I can't be, where I can't move, where I move uncomfortably, or like I can't move my body. I can move my body real well for a big guy, but I have a gut though, so that's a beer gut. It's not a big beer gut, but it's a beer gut. So I'm probably gonna want to drop the pounds. I kind of want to do DDP yoga anyways. I've been meaning to do that for a while. I've done insanity before. Like I actually like I think it was a couple years back. I stuck on playing doing insanity and then eating a protein low carbs diet. Not even a diet. I don't do diets. I just switched to eating high protein and low carbs, and I was dropping pounds. By 3 months in, I think I dropped like 55 pounds, and I looked great and I felt great. But I kind of want. I'm gonna do that again this year. I'm gonna drop some pounds I need to drop. So we'll see where that process goes. If I get to it, I will update my journey and process on Facebook if necessary. So, what are your thoughts on the new Ring of Honor World Title designs? Um, the World Title design looks alright. Well, it's not the best one they've had, obviously, but it's fine. The what was the other one? The television title one. It's meh. It's okay. The six-man title design looks pretty trash. It looks like someone's first time using Photoshop or MS Paint and just put stickers with the six-man tag text. So uh, we'll see. Have I seen or played Doki Doki Literature Club? No, I have not. I've not played or seen that thing. I don't even know what that is. Like, yeah, I don't, yeah, I don't know what that is. Do I watch Let's Players? Yes, I do. I used to sometimes watch PewDiePie. Not so much. I'm not even a PewDiePie fan, but I've watched him before. For my Nintendo fix, I watch Abdallah. I watch Abdallah Smash. I like him the most in terms of my Nintendo Let's Plays because he's got great commentary. He's very clear and precise, and he plays the games pretty relatively well. So Abdallah Smash is pretty cool. Um, PK Sparks is pretty cool as well. Um, see Blah Blah LPs when he does streams, he's pretty cool. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? That's probably the ones I've followed the most so far for right now. Yeah, that's probably it for right now. Did you play Resident Evil? No, I didn't play Resident Evil. Who is the strongest woman in anime? Who are the strongest women in anime? I mean, for me personally, maybe you have like Sailor Moon, since she's practically a god. Sailor Moon, General Esdeath, because she's OP as fuck too. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Um, in her prime, Android 18 though, bro. In her prime, Android 18 was pretty badass OP. Um, Jesus, who else? Um, that's probably all I got for right now. Um, you talk about Wrestle Kingdom yet? Yeah, I kind of talked about it earlier in the show. I will say that I am looking forward to Jericho Omega. I will caution people though. I will caution people though. I am looking forward to Omega Jericho. I think they're gonna have a really good to even maybe great match, but don't overhype it too much because I don't want you all to get disappointed if somehow, some way, Omega Jericho doesn't end up being the 5-star absolute classic that a lot of people are hyping it up to be. Because Jericho has slowed down in age, whether people want to admit it or not. Jericho has slowed down in age. He can still put on a good performance, but I'm interested to see if Jericho can really keep up with Omega's type of offense, in my opinion. But that is the match I am looking forward to though. Okada, Nato, that's a match that I'm also looking forward to. I think personally, to me, the majority want Nato to win the title. I personally believe Okada should retain. I think Okada's done a great job for New Japan. He's been a great representative. He's been a great ace for them. He's had a great title reign in my opinion that I don't see. I personally don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Um, yeah, I think Okada, as much as people don't maybe want to see it tonight, I think Okada should retain. Maybe Nato does win it later on down the road, but for right now, I think Okada needs to keep the title for a little bit longer. That's just my opinion. Um, But yeah, I am looking forward to Wrestle Kingdom 12 though tonight. I am. Thoughts on that one douche wrestling news reporter that has a douchey hair and it's an SJW? You have snapped on him a few times. Oh, yeah, you're talking about Ryan Satin from Pro Wrestling Sheet. Yeah, what a bitch, dude. What a pussy, man. He, I remember him trying to come after Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho was promoting his wrestling cruise thing that he's doing this year, and he advertised it about that there's gonna be a lot of hot babes and with boobs and all that. And Ryan Satin, being the typical beta male pussy, had to try to tweet at Jericho saying, maybe it shouldn't be a good idea to talk about women in that light." I'm like, have you ever seen pussy, bro? Have you ever gotten pussy? Like, I know you got a girlfriend and all, but that just means that she's wearing the pants in the relationship. Like, you're trying to attack Jericho for promoting to a male oriented audience with women in the ship. You want it to be a sausage fest? Are you crazy? Are you kidding me? So Jericho rightfully called him out on it and he blocked him. And then Ryan Satin got butt hurt. He got ass mad about it. So then he kept repeating it multiple times, thinking Jericho was gonna unfollow him. He never did. And then I got into it saying, maybe next time you don't tell people what to do in terms of promoting their cruise line. And then he blocked me because I was starting to get a lot of likes on my post or my tweet. So he got bitchy with me, and he blocked me like a little pussy. So, and I see a lot of people now are calling him out on his bullshit too, so that's good to see. But yeah, he's part of the TMZ tribe, so that tells you all you need to know about him in that aspect. But yeah, Ryan Satin, he's one of those guys that I initially liked too. That's why I followed him. I initially liked Ryan Satin because he felt like he was a different type of wrestling reporter. He wasn't just trying to report. He wasn't trying to get the news and scoops and report it first. He was checking it and checking it and checking it just to make it thorough so that he can get it the right way, not the first person to get it, but the right person to get it. But then all of a sudden, ever since the whole Broken Hardy situation with him in Impact, he chose the Hardy side. He became the Hardy's spokesperson unofficially. He started becoming a fan, a mark, more than a wrestling journalist. And then the whole thing with Jericho, and then I was like, well, stop being a bitch about it. And then he just blocked me like a pussy. So, yeah, Ryan Satin is a pussy. He definitely is an SJW. He tries to talk about how women are this and women should be respected here and women should be respected there. And even though there's been tweets now of his past Twitter escapades clearly disagreeing with his thoughts and stuff, um, I think I think he's an SJW pussy for the simple fact that stop speaking for all women, dude. A lot of women like themselves to be objectified. Some of them do like it. Have you ever been to a Hooters? They like it when men objectify them. Yeah, it's for money, obviously, because they'll spend more money if they see a lot of hot chicks. But they like that. They like the freedom of being what they want to be, of who they want to be. Are you one of those people that go to a strip club and tell strippers, "Hey, you should put your clothes back on. You shouldn't have to do all this." Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Stop trying to be one of these male feminists, which is a label that you shouldn't even be anyways with these allegations of people of male feminist lore, if you will. But don't be one of these male feminists that think you can speak for all women, thinking women should be treated as this, women should be treated as that. That's unironically sexist when you do that to women, because you're speaking for women when some women feel the opposite. I mean, if you experience real life, you wouldn't. If you experience real life, you would probably know that. So, you know, so that so Ryan trying to take the moral high ground to make himself seem better, to make himself feel better, to make himself think that he's the only person that knows everything when it comes to women like that. It's just so disingenuous, and I'm glad Jericho called him out on it. And I usually don't like when people block each other on Twitter in that sense for this reason, but if Ryan Satin's gonna be an SJW bitch about it, then that's the only way you can do that. Women can speak for themselves. I've met a lot of women, okay? I've met a lot of women that are strong and independent that would probably call out Ryan Satin and would probably verbally decimate him. Because with me, I have little to no filter. I pretty much say what I feel when it comes to, like, especially with women. Like, when women ask me a question, I just answer it. So, but they like my honesty though. That's why I tend to have a lot of women friends, quote unquote. But they like my honesty. They like my confidence when I say something, even if I'm wrong about it. They like my confidence when I say it. So that's why women can respect me in that front because I'm not trying to tell them what to do. I just give them the opportunity to do what they decide. Whatever they decide is their business. I don't try to lie. I don't try to lie and try to act like a holier than thou chauvinist white knight that says, "Oh, you poor woman, let me speak for you. Oh, can I open the door for you?" Because women can smell that bullshit, and that's how you get no pussy. That's how you get no women in your line. So, words to the wise for all of you on the chat right now. That's how you can try to attract women for the most part. Don't try to lie. Don't try to be a male feminist in that sense, because women can smell that bullshit, and they can decide within 3 seconds that you're not getting any. So, just be yourself. D-Wall's in the chat. What's up, D-Wall? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Women can speak for themselves. Like, people gotta stop this bullshit. If we're ever gonna be quote unquote equal, then allow women to speak for themselves and be themselves. Stop trying to force them to be equal. Let them be equal freely. It's that simple. Um, Thoughts of Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone entering the wrestling ring. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. That's pretty dope. I'm surprised nobody did that earlier. And I'm surprised nobody ever did that with Macaulay Culkin earlier. But then again, he was kind of a drug addict during that time, so that may be a reason why. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I liked it. So um, you know, I thought it was entertaining for what was an entertaining moment for wherever that was. Ryan Satin sure sounds like a real bitch. Yeah, he really is. Like if you've ever interacted with him on Twitter, if you've ever even seen his Twitter news feed, like and honestly, go if you have a Twitter, go on Twitter and look for Ryan Satin. It's Ryan Satin, and go on his like news feed. He sounds like the biggest. He sounds like the biggest cuck. He sounds like the biggest um like bitch when it comes to this shit. Like read some of his tweets. He really sounds like a bitch. He really sounds like a mark when he should be a wrestling journalist, a unbiased, objective wrestling journalist. So that's all I need. That's what you need to be telling you. Zayn is an SJW too. Yeah, I like watching wrestling with widgets content. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, Zayn's pretty bad with it too. But that just goes with the whole male feminist or quote unquote soy boy thing that's going on here. It's people just I'm sorry again I have to reiterate, but for the most part when I hear male feminists, that just tells me it's a guy that's trying to get laid by trying to be too nice to women when women already know that they're bullshit and they use them to get what they want. Not all of them, but some of them to get what they want until they have no use for him, and then they throw him out like he's nothing. That's your male feminist. So there you go. Um, who would win Clown World Order or Night Raid? I haven't watched any TAW stuff in a while, so I can't answer for that. But I'm probably just gonna say Night Raid. How about that? All right, I think that's gonna do it here for tonight. I think I've rambled on long enough for even though because you guys have seen me for so long, I think I've rambled on long enough. It's good to be back. Thank you guys for joining me with this newscast. I will hopefully have a new newscast maybe next week, but don't quote me on that. But I will try to have a newscast for all of you guys next week. Next week will be Impulse, the final Impulse before victory. 2 weeks from tonight will be, or 2 weeks from Friday will be ACW Victory with a direct earlier in that week. So we'll be doing that. A lot of the VidMe content, since VidMe shut down, a lot of that content will start trickling to the main account sometime starting this weekend. So for those that didn't watch it on VidMe, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube. We'll be having a lot of ACW content between now and 2 weeks from tonight. So make sure you guys join us for that. But we are back. I am back. ACW is back. Back to business. We're going to have a fun season. We're going to finally do this. This season's going to be lit, boy. And we've got a lot of projects coming up that you guys are going to enjoy. You will thank me for it. And we will have fun together going through it. So, without further ado, thank you all for joining us for the ACW Newscast. I am Hakeem Johnson, telling all of you guys to stay cool. Stay cool. See you guys, I believe, next week.